Keynesianism as a sensible economic policy is just dead as a dodo. I mean, it's ridiculous. That's what we have going on today, and look what's happening. They're down to, the Fed is going to have to make the interest rates negative to keep being Keynesian. They can't do anything. And moreover, even some of its little advantages, like print some money and put it out there, used to be you print some, it's a way of stealing from people who have dollars, of course, because you get inflation. But in the old days, they could print some money and put it out there, and it might be a couple of years before it spread among the society and got the inflation. Nobody noticed until it happened. Now we have electronics. You notice this week? Early in the week, the news was the Fed's going to print some more. What happened? The commodity markets and the stock markets went up to discount that money printing within days. That doesn't work anymore. Everybody understands what it is. Then you can borrow the money from the Chinese and Japanese and so forth. But these people are getting a little surly, and they're not loaning much money anymore because the U.S. government's broke, and they're not interested in loaning more money to a deadbeat. That leaves the taxpayer. The taxpayer is already taxed into the ground. You could take every cent that the public sector, the private sector still has, and take it all in taxes. Of course, that would shut down the private sector. You couldn't possibly pay their bills. Today, the federal government this year is spending $4.2 trillion. Their income is $1 trillion in taxes and $1 trillion in Social Security. And they're spending $4.2 trillion. Moreover, they owe $13.5 trillion in interest-bearing debt. And another, the most conservative estimate I've seen is $50 trillion in unfunded obligations. That is $630,000 for every American family. Now think about it, even in a booming economy, even if they get off our backs and let us get our country started again, how long does it take each family to save, after taxes, $630,000? At least a generation. We will work for an entire generation to pay the debts these guys have run up, even if we stop them now. It's insanity to send them back to office. My opponent has a debt clock on his website. It's a debt clock. But he ran up the debts. This guy is a big spending leftist. He's spent us into the ground. He's happily paid, voted for all those bills. They're nuts. You could take off the streets of this town, you and I go out here and just stop people till we get to 435. Throw the Congress out, put them in, the problem's solved. There might be 3 or 4 who would steal the trust fund from Social Security, but not many, and the others would stop them. There might even be a couple of those people who think it's a good idea to spend twice as much money as you take in, but most of them would stop him. And if you had somebody who was asleep all the time, at least he wouldn't hurt us because he wouldn't do anything. Ordinary Americans, I mean from the least fortunate to the most fortunate, I don't care. Just take a group of ordinary Americans with common sense, put them in that building, and these things would stop happening. We would still have to correct all the damage they've done, but they wouldn't do more damage. The American people, ordinary people off the street, just wouldn't do it.